Welcome, seekers of ancient truths, to biblical archives. Today we embark on an epic journey, diving deep into the heart of an empire whose very name conjures images of unparalleled grandeur, intellectual prowess, and tragic, devastating fall: Babylon. Its rise was nothing short of meteoric, its power absolute, and its influence indelible, not only on the vast expanse of the ancient world, but more profoundly, on the destiny of Israel and the unfolding narrative of biblical prophecy. We will meticulously explore how this colossal power became an unwitting yet powerful instrument in divine plans, meticulously shaping faith, rigorously forging identity, and astonishingly foretelling futures thousands of years in advance. The story of Babylon is a profound narrative of cycles, of mighty empires rising from obscurity to zenith, only to inevitably crumble and fall, of human ambition reaching for the heavens, ultimately clashing with immutable divine will. But for Israel, Babylon was far more than just another formidable conqueror in a long line of regional powers. It was a severe crucible, a period of profound suffering, forced introspection, and spiritual reckoning that fundamentally reshaped their collective identity and irrevocably solidified their monotheistic faith in ways nothing before or since had. From the opulent, gold-adorned palaces of Nebuchadnezzar II to the sorrowful, weeping exiles by the tranquil rivers of Babylon, this tumultuous era is indelibly etched into the very fabric of biblical history and prophecy, offering lessons that resonate even today. Let us embark on this transformative journey into the heart of empires and prophecies. Our comprehensive journey begins with Babylon's dramatic resurgence as the unequivocally dominant power in the Near East. After the dramatic and final collapse of the long-feared Assyrian Empire in 612 BCE, a formidable new dynasty swiftly emerged from the ancient, sacred city of Babylon. This Neo-Babylonian empire was initially led by Nabopolassar, a brilliant Chaldean general. His son, the legendary Nebuchadnezzar II, would ascend to the throne in 605 BCE, inheriting a nascent but rapidly expanding empire and transforming it into an unassailable, truly legendary force that would dominate the ancient world for nearly a century. Nebuchadnezzar was not merely a military genius, renowned for his strategic acumen and ruthless efficiency. He was also an extraordinarily prolific builder, ceaselessly adorning his capital with architectural wonders that captivated and awe-struck the imagination of the entire ancient world. His magnificent city, Babylon, quickly became an unparalleled beacon of civilization, sophisticated art, and groundbreaking scientific advancement. It strategically controlled vital trade routes and incredibly fertile agricultural lands, thereby ensuring its immense economic prosperity and sustained military and political power over a vast dominion. The fabled Hanging Gardens, often cited as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, even though their precise existence and exact location are still subjects of ongoing debate among modern historians and archaeologists, nevertheless profoundly speak to the immense ambition and engineering prowess attributed to Nebuchadnezzar. The sheer audacity of conceiving and constructing such a multi-tiered, intricately irrigated garden in the midst of a relatively flat, arid Mesopotamian landscape unmistakably underscores his unyielding desire to make Babylon a true, unparalleled marvel of the world. The Ishtar Gate, however, stands as an indisputable, breathtaking testament to Babylonian grandeur and artistic sophistication, a dazzling, monumental entrance crafted from vibrant blue-glazed bricks, meticulously adorned with powerful, stylized reliefs of lions, mythical dragons, Mushusu, and majestic bulls, aurochs. These formidable creatures symbolize the awe-inspiring might of the empire and its revered patron deity, Marduk. Babylon was not just a military power, it was the vibrant center of an advanced, highly organized society, boasting sophisticated legal systems, evident in countless administrative texts, cutting-edge astronomical observatories, whose detailed records contributed greatly to later astronomy, and a rich literary tradition meticulously recorded on countless clay tablets, detailing everything from astronomical observations and omens to administrative records, epic poems, and wisdom literature. Their groundbreaking advancements in mathematics, particularly their sexagesimal base 60 numeration system, were quite literally centuries ahead of their time, influencing future civilizations. It was during this period of undeniable Babylonian ascendancy that Judah, the southern kingdom of Israel, found itself perilously entangled in the intricate web of ancient Near Eastern geopolitical currents. Positioned precariously between the rapidly fading power of Egypt and the aggressively rising might of Babylon, Judah, regrettably, made a series of grave political and strategic miscalculations. Despite urgent, clear and direct warnings from divinely appointed prophets like Jeremiah, who tirelessly urged submission to Babylon as God's chosen instrument for divine judgment, even referring to Nebuchadnezzar as "my servant," Jeremiah 25:9, and advising the Jewish people to settle peacefully in Babylon and pray for its prosperity, Jeremiah 29:7. Judah stubbornly sought misguided alliances that ultimately proved utterly futile and devastatingly self-destructive. The persistent, defiant rebellion against God's explicit command, delivered through his prophet Jeremiah, irrevocably sealed their tragic fate. The consequences were indeed dire, leading to a relentless series of 3 major invasions and subsequent deportations that would fundamentally redefine Israel's very existence and their understanding of their covenant relationship with God. The first significant deportation of Judeans occurred in 597 BCE, following King Jehoiakim's ill-fated rebellion against Babylon. Although Jehoiakim himself died before facing the full, crushing force of Babylon's wrath, his son and successor Jehoiachin briefly ascended to the throne for a mere 3 months before prudently surrendering to Nebuchadnezzar. He, along with many of the kingdom's nobles, skilled craftsmen and influential leading citizens, crucially including the young prophet Ezekiel, were forcibly taken to Babylon. This momentous event marked the official beginning of what history would forever know as the Babylonian exile, or captivity, a period of forced displacement and spiritual upheaval. The second, and by far the most devastating wave of deportation, came a decade later, in 586 BCE, after King Zedekiah, whom Nebuchadnezzar had himself installed as a vassal ruler, foolishly and tragically rebelled against his Babylonian overlord. In response, Nebuchadnezzar's forces launched a brutal siege that culminated in the total destruction of Jerusalem, including Solomon's magnificent First Temple. A sacred structure that had stood proudly for nearly 4 centuries as the very heart of Jewish worship, spiritual identity, and national pride. A third, smaller deportation, aimed at quelling any lingering resistance, occurred in 582 BCE. The unprecedented destruction of the temple was an earth-shattering event, profoundly challenging Israel's long-held understanding of God, their unique covenant relationship with Him, and His unwavering promises. Nagging, agonizing questions tormented the exiles. Had God truly abandoned them? Was His immense power somehow insufficient to protect His holy city, His dwelling place on earth? These were the deeply painful questions wrestled with by the exiles, as vividly and mournfully expressed in the poignant Psalm 137. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down and wept when we remembered Zion. Yet paradoxically, it was precisely in this crucible of suffering, displacement, and existential crisis that their faith was not broken, but profoundly refined and strengthened. The jarring absence of the physical temple, their central place of worship and sacrifice, compelled a radical, transformative shift from animalistic, ritualistic sacrifice to a fervent focus on heartfelt prayer, diligent study of the Torah, and vibrant communal worship. This pivotal change laid the essential groundwork for the widespread synagogue system that would not only emerge but also flourish after the exile, ensuring the continuity of their religious identity and practices in a foreign land. This period intensified their profound understanding of God as truly omnipresent, a being not confined to a single geographical location or a specific building, but present everywhere with his people. The exile, though a period of immense hardship, was also a time of profound introspection, crucial theological development, and the emergence of new forms of religious expression. Prophets like Ezekiel, who was himself transported to the Chebar Canal near the Babylonian city of Nippur, communicated extraordinary visions of restoration and new life, even amidst the utter desolation of their present circumstances. He famously prophesied about the Valley of Dry Bones, Ezekiel 37, a vivid and powerful allegory symbolizing the national resurrection and spiritual renewal of Israel. Daniel, a young man of noble lineage who had been deported in an earlier wave, the first in 605 BCE, remarkably rose to prominence in the very heart of the Babylonian court. This was due not only to his exceptional administrative acumen, but more importantly, to his God-given ability to interpret complex dreams and visions. He served faithfully and wisely under several successive Babylonian and later Persian rulers, consistently demonstrating God's absolute sovereignty over earthly powers and astonishingly revealing the detailed course of future empires. This served as a powerful living testament to divine control over all human history. His unwavering faithfulness and steadfast integrity, even in the face of immense life-threatening pressure, such as the fiery furnace and the lion's den, provided an inspiring and enduring example for the entire exiled community, solidifying their hope. Babylon, in its staggering pride and intoxicating hubris, unequivocally believed itself invincible, its monumental walls impregnable, its power eternal and unchallengeable. The city was indeed a true marvel of ancient engineering and defense, protected by an elaborate double system of massive, seemingly insurmountable walls. These walls, famously described by the Greek historian Herodotus as being wide enough for 2 chariots to race abreast upon their tops, represented the apex of ancient defensive architecture. Yet, the biblical prophets, divinely inspired and speaking with unparalleled authority, foresaw its inevitable demise with chilling accuracy. Jeremiah, even before Jerusalem's final fall, fearlessly prophesied Babylon's eventual 70-year period of dominion over the surrounding nations, after which God would sternly punish Babylon for its profound iniquity and transform it into a perpetual, desolate waste. Jeremiah 25, 11, 12, 29, 10. Isaiah, centuries earlier, under divine inspiration, had already spoken of a coming conqueror, Cyrus of Persia, who would miraculously free the Jewish exiles and directly facilitate the rebuilding of Jerusalem and its sacred temple. Isaiah 44, 28, 45, 1, 4. These were not mere shrewd political predictions based on geopolitical analysis. They were precise divine decrees, powerfully highlighting God's ultimate and absolute control over all human history and his remarkable ability to use even pagan rulers, knowingly or unknowingly, for the fulfillment of his ultimate purposes. The prophecies concerning Babylon's fall were remarkably specific, leaving little room for doubt about their divine origin and precise fulfillment. They spoke in detail of the city's vast wealth being thoroughly plundered, Jeremiah 50:10, its mighty, seemingly impenetrable walls being miraculously breached, Jeremiah 51:58, and its very foundations being rendered utterly desolate, never to be fully inhabited again. They even hinted at the unusual and unexpected method of conquest, involving the strategic drying up of its protective waters, Isaiah 44:27. The Book of Daniel, uniquely set within the very heart of the Babylonian court, provides perhaps the most vivid, personal, and dramatic narrative of these prophecies, unfolding before the eyes of its participants. Daniel's inspired interpretation of King Nebuchadnezzar's troubling dream of the great statue, with its head of pure gold representing Babylon, brilliantly foreshadowed a succession of future empires, silver for Medo-Persia, bronze for Greece, iron for Rome. These empires, each more powerful and durable than the last, would eventually rise and inevitably fall, culminating in a future, eternal kingdom established directly by God himself, a kingdom that would never be destroyed. Daniel 2:31-45. This detailed foreknowledge of future world history powerfully demonstrated God's unparalleled insight and ultimate control over the destiny of nations. The climactic moment of Babylon's story, from a profoundly biblical and prophetic perspective, is vividly described in Daniel chapter 5. Belshazzar, who served as a co-regent, with his father Nabonidus often away on campaigns, or perhaps the last acting king of Babylon, hosted a great arrogant feast. In a deliberate and sacrilegious act of defiance against the God of Israel, he ordered the use of the sacred gold and silver vessels plundered from the Jerusalem temple for his revelers' profane toasts. In the midst of this debauchery, a chilling supernatural display unfolded. A disembodied hand mysteriously appeared and began writing an ominous, luminous message on the plastered wall of the palace. Mene, mene, tekel parsin. None of Babylon's renowned wise men, astrologers, or diviners could interpret the terrifying inscription, prompting Belshazzar's queen mother to recall Daniel. Daniel was summoned and fearlessly rebuked Belshazzar for his profound arrogance and impiety, then delivered the divine interpretation. Babylon's days were numbered, men. It had been weighed in the balance and found utterly wanting, tekel, and its kingdom would be divided and given to the Medes and Persians, parsin. That very night, the prophecies found their stunning, precise, and cataclysmic fulfillment. Cyrus the Great, the formidable king of Persia, executed a brilliant and audacious military maneuver. While Belshazzar and his court were immersed in their arrogant revelry, Cyrus's skilled engineers diverted the course of the mighty Euphrates River, which famously flowed directly underneath Babylon's seemingly impregnable walls and through the heart of the city. His army then marched stealthily into the city through the dried-up riverbed, catching the entire city completely by surprise. The once seemingly invincible empire fell without a major battle, a testament to the absolute accuracy of the prophetic word and God's sovereign hand in history. The fall of Babylon in 539 BCE marked a truly pivotal moment, ushering in the powerful Persian Empire, a new superpower that would adopt a markedly different, more tolerant approach to its conquered peoples, particularly the Jewish exiles, a policy that would ultimately enable their return to their homeland. The profound impact of the Babylonian captivity on Israel's destiny cannot possibly be overstated. It was not merely a period of punishment, but truly a refining fire. Prior to the exile, despite repeated warnings from numerous prophets, idolatry remained a persistent and debilitating problem for Israel, leading them astray from their covenant with God. The harsh, traumatic realities of losing their cherished land and their sacred temple, coupled with the relentless, purifying teachings of prophets like Ezekiel and Jeremiah, decisively purged this deep-seated tendency towards idolatry. The suffering of the exile instilled a deep, almost visceral abhorrence for idolatry that has powerfully persisted in Judaism ever since, cementing their monotheistic identity. The exiles, forcibly cut off from their homeland and its central sanctuary, deepened their understanding of God's universal sovereignty and his eternal covenant with his people, transcending geographical boundaries and powerfully demonstrating his omnipotent presence even in a foreign pagan land. The formation of the synagogue system, a revolutionary development that undeniably emerged during the difficult years of exile, served as a vital new space for prayer, diligent study of the scriptures, and vibrant communal gathering. This system became an indispensable cornerstone of Jewish life that not only endured but vigorously expanded long after the eventual return to Judah. It ingeniously ensured the preservation and continuity of their religious identity and cherished traditions even without the central temple. Rabbis and scribes, now figures of paramount importance, became crucial leaders, meticulously interpreting and passionately teaching the Torah, thereby fundamentally shifting the focus of Jewish religious life from physical sacrificial rituals to ethical monotheism, personal piety, and the immersive study of God's revealed word. The exile also powerfully fostered a strong, unified sense of national identity and shared purpose among the scattered tribes, cementing their common heritage and their fervent hope for future restoration. Furthermore, the extensive encounter with sophisticated Babylonian thought, particularly their highly advanced astronomy, precise calendrical systems, and even some elements of their apocalyptic literature, subtly influenced Jewish intellectual traditions. However, this influence was always meticulously filtered and reinterpreted through their uncompromising monotheistic worldview, ensuring its theological purity. The Book of Daniel, with its profound emphasis on dramatic apocalyptic visions and the intricate interplay of earthly kingdoms with God's ultimate eternal kingdom, distinctly reflects some of these broader intellectual currents. Yet, it reinterprets them through a uniquely Israelite lens that powerfully emphasizes divine control over all history and the ultimate, certain triumph of God's people and His righteous rule. This intellectual engagement, far from compromising Jewish thought, actually enriched it, providing new frameworks for understanding divine sovereignty without betraying its core tenets. The glorious return from exile, miraculously facilitated by Cyrus's unprecedented decree in 538 BCE, served as a profound and tangible testament to the precise fulfillment of prophecy and God's unwavering faithfulness to His promises. Cyrus, in a radical policy shift from the oppressive strategies of previous empires, not only generously permitted but actively encouraged the return of various deported peoples to their respective homelands, even providing financial resources for them to rebuild their temples and religious structures. Although only a remnant chose to return, estimated between 40,000 to 50,000 people, they brought with them a renewed, purified commitment to the Torah, a heightened and deeply cherished sense of their unique identity as God's chosen people, and a fervent, passionate zeal for rebuilding Jerusalem and its sacred temple. This crucial post-exilic period, meticulously chronicled in the biblical books of Ezra and Nehemiah, laid the indispensable foundations for Second Temple Judaism, which would define Jewish life and religious practice until the Roman era and the cataclysmic destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE. Babylon's enduring legacy extends far beyond its historical footprint as a once mighty empire. It remains an incredibly potent and recurring symbol in biblical prophecy, frequently representing oppressive, corrupt world systems and powers inherently opposed to God and His divine will. In the enigmatic book of Revelation, Babylon the Great signifies the ultimate corrupt global power, an immense spiritual and economic powerhouse aligned against God, whose eventual inevitable downfall is assured and vividly described. This profound symbolic use powerfully highlights the enduring prophetic relevance of Babylon's story, transcending its physical ruins to represent timeless spiritual realities and the cosmic, ongoing battle between good and evil, righteousness and rebellion, ultimately culminating in God's final, glorious victory. The imagery in Revelation is rich with echoes of the ancient city's profound arrogance, relentless materialism, and pervasive moral decay. The meticulously detailed nature of the prophecies concerning Babylon's phenomenal rise and its dramatic subsequent fall, as well as their astonishingly precise fulfillment, serve as powerful, irrefutable evidence of biblical inspiration and God's absolute sovereign control over all of history. These prophecies offer profound assurance that divine plans, no matter how complex, seemingly improbable, or apparently delayed they may appear from a human perspective, will ultimately and unfailingly come to glorious fruition. The Babylonian captivity, though undeniably a period of immense suffering, profound loss, and deep introspection, was paradoxically instrumental in shaping Israel's faith, decisively purging idolatry from their midst and preparing them for their unique future role in God's grand redemptive plan for all humanity. This demonstrates God's remarkable ability to use even adversity to achieve His ultimate righteous purposes. Babylon, a name that forever remains synonymous with colossal power, unimaginable splendor, and ultimately absolute desolation, stands as a monumental and enduring case study in the intricate interplay of human ambition and divine purpose. It was not merely a city or an empire. It was a grand stage upon which the destiny of Israel was not simply shaped, but rather forged and refined through fire, emerging stronger, purer, and far more resolute in its fundamental monotheistic conviction. The invaluable lessons learned by the sorrowful rivers of Babylon resonated powerfully through countless centuries, profoundly influencing Jewish thought, religious practice, and their enduring, unwavering hope for messianic deliverance, a sacred hope that would ultimately culminate in the glorious coming of Jesus Christ, the promised Messiah. The very essence of Jewish identity was, in many ways, solidified and transformed during this crucial period of exile. The unparalleled architectural and cultural achievements of ancient Babylon remain an awe-inspiring testament to human ingenuity, artistic brilliance, and organizational prowess. From the intricate systems of irrigation to their advanced astronomical observations, Babylon pushed the boundaries of ancient knowledge. But its ultimate, profound significance, especially when viewed from a biblical perspective, lies in how its epic story was intrinsically interwoven with precise divine prophecy, powerfully revealing God's absolute sovereignty over all nations and his unwavering eternal commitment to his covenant people, even through their darkest and most challenging trials. The Biblical Archive seeks to illuminate these profound, often hidden connections, inviting you, our cherished audience, to perceive and understand history not merely as a sequence of events, but through the transcendent lens of divine purpose, demonstrating how ancient events and prophetic words still speak directly and powerfully to us today, offering timeless wisdom. Consider the sheer magnitude and precision of these ancient prophecies. For the prophet Isaiah to accurately name Cyrus, the Persian king, centuries before his actual birth, and for Jeremiah to precisely predict a 70-year exile for Judah and the very specific, unique nature of Babylon's dramatic fall, fundamentally defies mere human foresight, political acumen, or astute historical analysis. This is not simply a matter of historical interpretation, it's a compelling living demonstration of a divine, intricate plan unfolding with meticulous precision, carefully orchestrated by the omniscient God of Israel. The very enduring existence of the Jewish people, after remarkably enduring such a devastating and prolonged exile, and their eventual miraculous return to rebuild their sacred homeland, serves as a powerful, living testament to the absolute truth of these ancient words and God's unshakable faithfulness to his covenant promises. It speaks to an unparalleled level of historical control and orchestration that only a divine hand could possibly achieve. The profound spiritual lessons gleaned from the Babylonian experience are equally, if not more, significant. It unequivocally taught Israel that God was not geographically confined to Jerusalem or to the physical structure of the temple. He was indeed the God of the entire earth, present and active with his people, even in the desolate land of exile. This broadened understanding of God's universal dominion and omnipresence prepared them for a global mission, a deeper relationship with their Creator beyond rituals and locations. It also poignantly underscored the severe consequences of disobedience, idolatry, and spiritual complacency, while simultaneously highlighting God's restorative justice, his boundless capacity for forgiveness, and his unwavering faithfulness to his covenant promises, even when his people grievously strayed. The concept of individual personal responsibility before God also became far more prominent during this period of introspection. The very crucial act of preserving their sacred texts, the foundational Torah, and the inspired writings of the prophets during the tumultuous years of the exile became absolutely paramount for the survival of their faith. Scribes meticulously and diligently copied, studied, and transmitted these invaluable scriptures, ensuring their faithful transmission to countless future generations. This pivotal period solidified the canon of what we now reverently know as the Old Testament, effectively making the written word the central, ultimate authority for Jewish life, faith, and practice. This enduring legacy continues to profoundly impact billions worldwide, shaping civilizations and individual lives. The dedicated scribes and priests who ultimately returned from exile, such as Ezra the scribe, were instrumental in meticulously codifying, organizing, and passionately teaching these scriptures, thereby cementing their central and supreme role in Jewish tradition. The physical ruins of ancient Babylon, though largely buried beneath the shifting sands of time, still powerfully whisper stories of a magnificent bygone era. Modern archaeology tirelessly continues to unearth fragments of its legendary grandeur, from the colossal remains of its once imposing walls to countless administrative tablets that amazingly corroborate crucial aspects of biblical accounts, such as records of Jewish exiles in Babylon. These tangible physical discoveries serve to firmly anchor the biblical narrative in undeniable historical reality, providing concrete links to the events and prophecies we discuss. This ongoing archaeological corroboration significantly strengthens the credibility and historical authenticity of the scriptural record, bridging the gap between ancient texts and modern science. The meticulous detail of the prophecies concerning Babylon's eventual desolate state, that it would become a barren wasteland, inhabited only by wild animals, never to be rebuilt as a major, vibrant city, its very stones never again used for foundations, Isaiah 30:19-22, Jeremiah 50:39-40, is profoundly striking. Unlike other ancient capitals such as Rome, Damascus, or even Jerusalem, which have seen continuous habitation or significant widespread reconstruction throughout millennia, Babylon largely remains in extensive ruins, precisely fulfilling these ancient, precise pronouncements. This persistent historical desolation, despite various attempts at modern revival and partial reconstruction throughout history, stands as a silent yet incredibly powerful testimony to the absolute accuracy and divine origin of the prophetic word found within the Holy Scriptures. The profound narrative of Babylon is a timeless reminder that empires, no matter how powerful, how wealthy, or how grand they may appear, are ultimately transient and fleeting. They are unequivocally subject to a higher power, and their destinies are intricately intertwined with a grander divine narrative that transcends human ambition. For the people of Israel, this humbling realization brought both deep introspection and a profound, enduring hope. Their suffering in Babylon was not meaningless or random. It was a purposeful and transformative chapter in their sacred story, preparing them for a renewed covenant relationship with God and a crucial future role in God's eternal plans for humanity. It powerfully demonstrates His miraculous ability to bring profound good and spiritual growth, even out of great evil and immense suffering. The enduring legacy of Babylon continues to captivate scholars, historians, archaeologists, and theologians alike. Its archaeological remains provide invaluable insights into one of the ancient world's most sophisticated and influential civilizations, revealing its complex social structures, its vibrant art, and the intricacies of its daily life. Moreover, its compelling biblical narrative offers profound, timeless lessons on divine sovereignty, the severe consequences of human pride and disobedience, and the enduring, unwavering faithfulness of God to His promises, even through the most challenging and darkest of times. This makes Babylon's story a timeless case study, relevant for all generations. The lessons are not confined to the past, but reverberate in contemporary contexts, urging humility and wisdom. The period of Babylonian dominance and the subsequent exile left an indelible and transformative mark on Jewish identity and theology. It irrevocably solidified their monotheistic beliefs, emphasizing a God who transcended physical temples and national borders, a God who was capable of acting anywhere and everywhere, not limited by space or location. This deepened, expanded understanding of God's omnipresence and omnipotence would prove absolutely vital for the continued survival and remarkable development of Judaism across the globe, preparing them for a future of living as a distinct people in various diasporas, scattered yet unified by their faith. Their identity became portable, rooted in belief rather than land alone. The biblical books of Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and Daniel provide invaluable first-hand accounts and profound prophetic visions directly from within the fiery Babylonian crucible. These sacred texts are not merely historical records documenting ancient events. They are profound spiritual guidance, offering enduring hope and challenging complacency, even in the face of immense, seemingly insurmountable adversity. They powerfully remind us that even in periods dominated by the greatest and most formidable empires, God's voice, faithfully delivered through his chosen prophets, cuts through the cacophony of human power, pride, and earthly noise, offering eternal truths that transcend all temporal circumstances and fleeting human concerns. The dramatic downfall of Babylon, at the precise hands of the Persian Empire under the astute leadership of Cyrus the Great, stands as a cornerstone event in the meticulous fulfillment of biblical prophecy. It demonstrated, unequivocally, God's remarkable ability to use foreign kings, even those unaware of his purposes, as powerful instruments of his divine will, raising up one nation and casting down another, all to achieve his ultimate righteous purposes for his chosen people and for the entire world. This divinely orchestrated shift in global power ensured that the conditions were precisely right for Israel's miraculous return and the subsequent rebuilding of their spiritual center, a crucial step in his redemptive plan. This pivotal moment, the fall of Babylon and the rise of Persia, allowed for the joyous and often challenging return of the Jewish exiles to their cherished homeland, a process meticulously documented in the biblical books of Ezra and Nehemiah. Their arduous journey back, often fraught with significant challenges such as opposition from neighboring peoples and internal disputes among themselves, was nevertheless fueled by a renewed spiritual fervor and an unyielding determination to rebuild their shattered nation and its sacred temple. This post-exilic period saw the establishment of a strong emphasis on the law, Torah, and a purified worship, meticulously guided by leaders like Ezra and Nehemiah, thereby solidifying their post-exilic identity and preparing them for the centuries to come. The profound prophetic narrative surrounding Babylon also contributes significantly to our comprehensive understanding of future events, particularly within the rich tapestry of apocalyptic literature. The symbolism of Babylon as a representation of worldly opposition to God's ultimate kingdom has powerfully transcended its historical context, becoming a potent and recurring archetype for understanding the ongoing spiritual battle throughout history, which is destined to culminate in a future ultimate victory of God's eternal kingdom. This dual historical and prophetic understanding of Babylon provides crucial, timeless insights into divine justice, ultimate sovereignty, and the relentless march of God's plan through time, revealing that history is not random but purposeful. The very name Babylon inextricably conjures images of both magnificent grandeur and eventual total ruin, a cyclical pattern that serves as a powerful and timeless cautionary tale against human hubris, unchecked ambition, and defiant rebellion against divine will. Its rich multi-layered history, encompassing everything from its awe-inspiring architectural marvels to its precise prophetic pronouncements, continues to fascinate and profoundly inform, offering timeless insights into the complex human condition and God's intricate interaction with nations. It serves as a stark reminder to humanity of its finite nature before an infinite sovereign God, whose plans endure through all ages. The profound and transformative shift in Jewish identity, moving from a national religion centered exclusively around a physical temple to a resilient people of the book, fundamentally bound by Torah and synagogue, remarkably ensured their survival through millennia of dispersion and diaspora. This monumental transformation, decisively catalyzed by the Babylonian exile, prepared them to be a powerful light to the nations, carrying the timeless monotheistic message far beyond the geographical borders of Judah, influencing Western civilization and global thought profoundly and irreversibly. Their identity became portable, their faith adaptable, ensuring continuity. The prophecies, so minutely and astonishingly fulfilled regarding Babylon, unequivocally solidify the trustworthiness and divine inspiration of the biblical text itself. They offer a compelling and irrefutable argument for the divine origin of Scripture, powerfully reinforcing the profound belief that the Bible is not merely a collection of ancient stories, human wisdom, or historical accounts, but a divinely guided, living narrative of God's unfolding, eternal plan for humanity, demonstrating His unique foresight, absolute control, and unshakable faithfulness throughout history. This provides immense confidence in the scriptural record. The Biblical Archives aims to bring these rich, complex narratives to vivid life, meticulously connecting ancient texts with tangible historical realities and profound spiritual truths. We invite you, our valued audience, to continue exploring these rich tapestries of history and prophecy with us, gaining a deeper understanding of how the past profoundly illuminates our present circumstances and unerringly points us toward our future, revealing the timeless, enduring relevance of God's holy word in an ever-changing world. From the towering, majestic ziggurats and the fearsome, disciplined armies of Nebuchadnezzar to the quiet devotion and heartfelt prayers of exiles by foreign rivers, Babylon's immense shadow looms large over biblical history, marking a defining era. It was undeniably a time of immense challenge, profound suffering, and spiritual displacement, but paradoxically, also a period of unparalleled spiritual growth, refined faith, and groundbreaking prophetic revelation. The very shaping of Israel's enduring destiny in many ways was irrevocably forged in the fiery crucible of Babylonian captivity, ensuring the survival of their unique faith, the preservation of the sacred divine narrative for countless generations to come, and ultimately preparing them for the glorious coming of the Messiah. The meticulous detail with which these ancient empires and their associated prophecies are profoundly documented within the sacred biblical texts provides an extraordinary, compelling testament to their divine origin and their enduring, timeless relevance for all humanity. The story of Babylon is not just a mere chapter in ancient history, it is a foundational pillar in understanding the larger, intricate biblical narrative and the precise unfolding of God's sovereign, eternal plan for all of creation. It serves as a powerful, humbling reminder that no empire, no matter how grand, how powerful, or how enduring it may seem to be, ultimately escapes the watchful eye and the absolute dominion of the Almighty, the supreme ruler of the universe. Thank you for joining us on this profound and illuminating journey through empires and prophecies. If this in-depth exploration into Babylon's immense impact on Israel and the ancient world resonated deeply with you, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Biblical Archives for more comprehensive deep dives into sacred history and prophecy, and share it widely with anyone who seeks truth and understanding. Your engagement is invaluable and helps us continue to unlock the secrets of the past and share them with the world. Until next time, keep seeking, keep learning, and may your understanding of ancient truths continue to grow.